I want those who aren't in on who aren't in on the joke, the chat gang joke. I want you all to see what inspired this. And like so many things, we have Frank, the Doc King, to thank for this. It is one of those memes I see, and it's just truly like I don't know how to describe it. Every time I look at it, I laugh. Fucking hell! Oh, I found it. Oh man. Plate. Yeah, is that what we went with? Who doesn't love maraschino juice? Disgusting. See, I don't like sugar. Like I'm not a big sugar guy. I like the salty snacks, not the. Here we go. Boom. There he is. I don't like sugar. Like I'm not. Brilliant. And we can turn that off now.
Same thing happened to me. I had to mute you because it was over on my other screen.
Yeah, no, that's fair. All right, so we got the Pepsi milk here. But before I drink this, everyone must become in on the inside joke. So you must see the original, the originator. Too small. No, we need a bigger resolution. I get it every time. All right, I think that's as big as I can make the resolution. Here we go. Oh my god. He's so happy. It's so good. You see, so you pour the oh, it's so good.
He just really loves this guy's facial expression.
Oh, it's so good. Look at the like. He's just got the milk. He pours the Pepsi, and he's so happy.
And then reality sets in.
And then like he just like he doesn't like the second to last panel. He's like he's processing, and then the final one, he's seen some shit. That is the stare of somebody who has seen the future and is like, this is what Dr. Manhattan looks like when he's like seeing the future and all the timelines all at once.
Mm-hmm.
This is what it means to like achieve the Mensa's dream from Bloodborne and finally have eyes on the inside of your skull. Like, it's not 1,000-yard stare, it's 1,000-year stare. Exactly. I know this information personally. Heywoah showing up in chat. Amazing. Oh, man. All right. Oh, now you all know this. Now you have all seen this. His face, every time. Okay, so, got my milk here. My favorite cup, which has the skyline of Milwaukee, but in sweet rainbow. And go ahead and here's your Pepsi. Oh man, it's foaming.
That's just the power of the future.
Oh, that was all foam. It's like there he is.
Hey there, Ian. How you doing, buddy?
Good evening, gentlemen. Very good, thank you.
Good to see you again.
You too. Well, let's watch this. Oh, is that? Are you drinking the milk, or is that? It's not the face of a man who's happy with what he's just put in his mouth.
No.
I forgot you can't see my rant cam right now. It's indescribable. It's like it's got a texture as a beverage, you know, like. Please describe the bouquet. I mean, I really get like, like a dreamsicle. I get like the mango version of a dreamsicle. Like that's the smell. So it is promising me something good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But then that is not what comes to pass.
Have you seen there's a Magic the Gathering card called Peer into the Abyss. Have you seen
Yes.
Peer into the Abyss?
I thought you were gonna say what Glimpse the Future or whatever. There's either one, yes.
I think the art for Peer into the Abyss is what I imagine the 1,000-year stare looks like.
Mm-hmm.
It's screaming like it's the guy disappointed in his own eyes and his mouth. Like, look at this art.
I've just pasted a link into chat. It's a legit link. It's not going to give you a virus.
There we go.
That's the art I'm talking about.
Yes.
Amazing.
I love that art. I don't know why. I'm not that into art, but that's some messy shit. Looking at that art,
pretty horrendous. Yes. There's another one that I was thinking of. It's like it's also a black card, of course, because that's always where we get this great like awful art. It's like a can't think of the card now. Shoot. It's a 7-drop black card, 6 colorless, 1 black. Players have no maximum hand size.
Oh yeah, I know the one you're talking about. That's obscure enough for me not to remember. Heywoah should be on there.
Yeah, he'll know it.
Yeah. And then there's a secondary effect as well there.
General chat in my Discord. What is popping off in general chat?
I'm just gonna look through all the things that have players have no maximum hand size.
That my face when.
There it is. Price of Knowledge. That's the
one.
card.
Yeah.
There it is.
Oh
I knew
God.
I'd find it. Yes, that one is also very.
The price
also
of
very much feels like that.
the price of knowledge. This is it's like
Nice.
is it okay for a drink to give you a headache? This isn't performative. Like I suddenly feel an ache at the back of my skull. Oh, it's Pepsi, right? Man. I don't know. Have I altered the future by drinking this now?
Of course.
I mean, when I look at the Discord version of this chat versus the Twitch version of this chat, you're facing in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
So maybe there's some kind of, non-Euclidean kind of Cthulhu, Royer thing going on now that you've drunk the milk and the angles aren't quite matching up to the real world anymore.
Right. Like if someone drinks Pepsi milk, they see my true form now. Like they'll see me for what I really am.
Yeah.
The Mephisto you see before you is a mere shell. It is a veneer. The true Mephisto is on the inside. So speaking of on the inside, we're donate for mental health, everybody. It's this is technically supposed to be the Cubicle 7, but it's the Just Weekly or the Warhammer Play podcast.
Sure.
Let's do it. Yeah.
I was always meant to drink it. We are now in the darker timeline. like I just shunted into the darker timeline. Cool. People adding prizes. All right. I'll get those added probably tomorrow. We've added a bunch of prizes suddenly today. Nick,
So I've been derelict in my Rantathon duties and completely forgotten about any form of prize for our section. No, it's okay. I'm gonna solve it. I just haven't quite come up with a good prize yet. I've been I considered climbing into my loft earlier and just having a route around and seeing what random limited edition valuables I had up there that I could, stashed at the back from 15 years ago or something. I'm sure I'll find something.
So yeah, right now we've got the Wurgog Prophet, the Beast Snaggas. For the Beast Snaggas, you do need to donate a minimum of $10. That's per Ministomp. He wanted to kind of up the ante for this pretty awesome box. And
which
Vince,
which really what that says is you should donate $13 because, as we said, this is now the Skaven hour. So donate $13 in honor of the Great Horned Rat, and you'll qualify for the Beast Snagga box. So there you go.
yeah. And I coerced Vince into painting a second mini. So, so tons of great stuff for a great cause. Please donate. Let's hit 4,000. What do you say? What do you say, chat gang? You got it in you? If you're not already sharing the link, share. Tell people to come in, donate. They don't have to love Warhammer. We'll make them love Warhammer. We'll get them in through
emotional violence.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Owen Wilson shows up and tells Meph, when you drank the mango Pepsi milk, you altered the timeline. Now you're going to help me fix it. Wow. So, did you put the bow on the Stormcast chat? I'm wondering what Ian's thoughts might be.
Like as I suspected when we talked about the units the pet units that people wanted to see improved, almost everybody picked the same units because we all know what the problem units are, which are the cool things that should have been worth something and weren't. Right? Like there's this set of Stormcast units that we just like, the Vanguard Hunters and the Paladors and, you know, Prosecutors, like these things that have just never been good, and it's a shame. So make them worth playing in some way. Give them a role. Make them interesting. Make them do something.
Yeah, one of the things I say a lot, and I find myself using the phrase repeatedly, particularly in more recent years since I've been less like Games Workshop suck and a little bit more like Games Workshop could do this thing better.
Right.
Which, you know, I mean, I was mature previous to that, but it just, at some point there was some maturity where it seemed kind of pointless to just be angry. Right. And it just seems more appropriate to put that in the context of, I don't really get angry at their lack of ability to do some of these things, like balance elite, what we were talking about before. It's crazy at this point, this many years on, that, you know, we still get, you know, 180, 200 point units that
you still
are
get Slangor Fiend Bloods.
Yes, exactly, yeah. I mean, all of those 2 models in the Slaanesh book, effectively. And the phrase I use repeatedly is, it's just a shame. It's just a shame that so many great models and great potential builds and variation and interestingness for people to generate in their games by doing all this different stuff goes to waste because someone can't add up the damage a unit does and realize that it's not high enough. You know, when we say something can be fixed by maths, like, it's not complex maths either. It's not difficult. Right. There's no reason why anyone shouldn't be able to do this. And
yeah, look at the unit, look at the points you're spending, look at the damage output potential versus its defense. Like, I mean, I know they say they have spreadsheets, and I appreciate that spreadsheet, but if it's giving you these numbers, then these numbers are wrong, and your spreadsheet's wrong. Like, you know, that's
yeah.
It just, like, an elite unit. Like, are we, like, it's the thing that I've always wondered, like, how much are they taking into account just the negative externalities that certain units have, right? There are some things that are just naturally worse to play because of their very existence.
Go ahead.
I appreciate them trying to buff monsters in this edition. Like, that's cute. It's nice. I'm glad. Okay, like, because standalone non-hero monsters were always the worst unit in the game, like somehow even worse than elite infantry pre 3.0.
Yeah, because like 3 bodies has an intrinsic value that is greater than 1 body.
Right, those 3 people can at least outdo the monster, right? Yeah. And like, I'm happy monsters are worth 5 now. That's cool. But the problem is the main beneficiary of that isn't standalone monsters. Like, I've seen a bunch of people like, oh, I'm so excited now, I can play my Cygor or whatever, and I'm like, well, enjoy giving your opponent a victory point, because, like, you know, that's yes, you can now do a monstrous rampage, but you know who does that better? Monstrous heroes. Like, the same people who were benefiting before are still the primary beneficiaries.
And now they can stack their hero abilities with the monstrous rampage abilities,
right,
and do twice as much stuff and end up even higher, more than the sum of their parts as well on top.
So
yeah, it's a bit like I I like the seasonal sort of realm
I like that. I think that's fun.
rules as a way of getting the realms into the game. I find it a little bit strange that a season is likely to be a year, and therefore, you know, I'm gonna be pretty old by the time we get through the realms. That's kind of a little bit strange, but the concept is cool.
Well, I mean, conceivably they could do 2 realms next year. You know, like.
Well, I thought that was going to be the case as well until I saw the preview for the next White Dwarf.
Okay. Here, let me read some donations real quick. Hang on to your thought.
Sure, please.
People 3004 says what makes the paint job even better is that model's fine cast. Big. This is talking about the Wurgog Prophet. Germ donated because you guys just want me to do this. Sorry, guys. I don't want to redline on you. How was that one, everyone?
Good.
All right. Grob, keep this up. This is great. Stay gold, Meph. You stay gold, Hotspur. Thank you so much. Hotspur helped donate to some of my favorite prize of the whole Rantathon are the shirts. I know it's like they're just shirts, but I love shirts. And they're fantastic. So he donated one of them. Or sorry, no, Hotspur did the the Pepsi milk. Hotspur did the Gargant. Sir Flukes a lot.
You go.
The shirt's still one of my favorite, by the way. Sir Flukes a lot. Hoping to snag a box here, and I'm throwing a squiggly for the new Cruel Kids. Can't wait.
Nice.
Yeah. Great stream. Keep it up, duders. Thank you, Dave. Snitbag says cause and effect. Oh no, not another one of these. There we go. I pitched up for you at the end there. Look at that. Bryce Schultz says multiples of 6. Dan Caravan coming back in. Most underserved Stormcast character is the Griffhound. Hashtag Griffhound gang.
I don't know, man. Griffhounds explode right
now. Caleb Kane says, good peeps, good cause. Love you guys. Love you too, Caleb. Always has something really good to say to me when I'm feeling down sometimes. So, like, good dude. Rocco, your boy. Let's go, chat gang. The $13 train is coming through now. Fluke Skywalker, let's go. And he runs out of characters. Michael saying, Vince is still my Warhammer hero. Lexopolis saying, again, Rantathon. And he has a PhD, so he knows what he's talking about. And Scrubby Wells sending out a heart. Heart you too, Scrubby. So.
My new co-host. My new and always co-host. When Tyler and I decided to start doing Warhammer Weekly 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I was glad that he was on board, and I'm happy that he stuck with me this entire time. So that's really nice.
I knew I made it as a content creator when Tyler told me he liked one of my episodes. Like, that was it for me. That was like, I'm like, I've done it. So back to this, back to what you were saying, though, about... Sorry.
So Sir Fluxalot said the Scottish tourney this weekend, 39.7% of the total points across the entire tourney was spent on monsters. The number that I want there, like that's interesting to me, but here's the analytics I want. What's the percentage that are just monsters and do not have the hero keyword? That's the number I want, because I bet that's like 1%.
I think there's quite a few Stonehorns at that event, I believe, so I think you probably will get one of the only non-hero monsters in the game that are actually so good.
Yep.
But yeah, it's they are certainly very good. I don't know that, like, I think in some armies, I don't know that it's going to be necessarily correct to take too many monster heroes, but I think it's always incorrect to take 0. And I don't think that is a good thing for any game ever, to give every army like an auto-include baseline, especially since some armies do not have a good monster hero.
Right, sure. Yeah, it's a question of, like, what are you going to get out of that thing? Because it's running around being worth a victory point to your opponent. Right?
Yeah.
And so the question is, are you going to be able to capitalize on getting at least 1 victory point, or hopefully 2, so you end up in the trade out of the other items? That's so 9-Volt Cat said Thunder Lizards representing non-monster heroes. Yeah, there you go. I mean, like, the ones I could see having the non-monster heroes that I think are valuable are BCR, right, because of the Beast Riders, the Stonehorn Beast Riders. if somebody's playing FEC, which I'm sorry about that, but if they were, then they could have non-monster heroes, or like Avangori, I suppose. I do know at the tournament in Sweden, the one that the Konstantinos won was Korn. There was an Avangori player in the.
Interesting. I mean, I do think of
final
Vengorian Lord as Brendan has proved, and I was speculating. I do think of Vengorian Lord with the proper support, put an item on him, does work. Like it.
No, I think Vengorian Lord's a perfectly fine piece, but I mean, he's still a hero.
But it's a hero, right? So it's
I think of Vengorai as a list. I think I'm looking forward to testing.
Right. That's when I'm like. I mean, I think you said it on your show with Richie on over on YouTube. You were talking about like you think that there's a list in there, and you were one of the ones that kind of turned my head to like rereading the Vengorian Lord scroll, and I'm like looking at this. I'm like, there's got to be like in the Avengerai, like the actual thing. I'm like, there's got to be a way to get two solid monsters in there and like a good complement of stuff to really make this go.
Yeah. I think even previous, like last edition of AOS, although obviously there wasn't a lot of it played. I think Zombie Dragons at 300 points in AOS 2 were actually okay, pretty decent because there's always like a lot of value in a big, mobile, relatively hard hitting piece, even when it's not like super good. And I think that now that they can get the -1 to wound and fight the top of their profile and they're a monster, I think they're potentially good. But, the downside of the monster rules focus is that, the chances are if you play more than one monster and at least one of them isn't particularly tough, you're going to come out down on the trade.
Yeah, you're handing people victory points.
Yeah, you're gaining one monster point a turn, max. Like you're just gaining the one and you are giving away potentially multiple as soon as you got multiple monsters. So, yeah, I don't know. But I think it'd be a cool list, though. I do think it'll work. Maybe it's got more chance of working than it would have done in the previous edition, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, counting as 5 is not, those rules don't go far enough, in my opinion. Counting as 5 doesn't really matter that much.
Well, like the 10 is where you're at because the idea is that you headhunt those min batline like sort of back objectives, right? And the goal is to get in, kill a couple models, and steal it, right? Like that's the idea.
I don't know. I mean, when I've played Stonehorns, for example, you have to have a clash in the middle of the field at some point, right? And when you have that clash, after maybe a couple of them have had a fight, 20 might be enough to take the stuff off big battle line units. But if your 2 Stonehorns counters, your 2 monsters counters 5 each, you're never taking that objective. Like in one turn, you're always down. And 5 is nice. It's nice that they count as more than one, and a single hero can't just cock block a bunch of objectives from monsters now.
Right.
But 5 is still a number of relevance, and 2 for things that aren't monsters is borderline, insulting.
I mean, yeah, it like the 2 ends up being the hey, by the way, that's cool. This guy counts as 2.
Yeah.
So like it's gonna happen once in every few games where it's like, I accidentally got up by 1 because this dude is 2, right? Like the math has to be so close already. It's usually like the way I've had it come up where it actually mattered was usually like a turn 4 or 5, like late in the game objective hold, right, where there just wasn't a lot of models left, and it was like, oh yeah, that's right, this guy's 2. Okay, so I get the objective.
Compounded by the fact that the models that tend to count as 2 are mostly not very good, as we've discussed before. There's such a small number of models in the game that have got 5 wounds and aren't a monster. Like, you just, you wonder why someone bothered writing the rule.
This is why I'll tell you, Ian. This is why I'm hoping for them Dracoths. That's what I want. That's my 5 wound dogs right there.
Yeah,
Give me them good dragon dogs.
Soren asking from Chat Gang, what are your thoughts on factions that do not have an in-book monster? Night Haunt, Bone Splitters both have Forge World monsters, and you got allies, but questions posed.
Night Haunt, I think, are fine. Night Haunt's major problem has to do with
damage.
What's that?
Damage.
Well,
They're just light on damage.
They don't have very good hammers, and currently they miss out on the thing that the game has become, which is save stacking. Right? So the fact that they cannot bonus their saves either is a real challenge for them.
Yeah. They also don't have good combat heroes.
Right.
Take advantage of the combat hero stuff either. They get effectively none of the rules in the book. They got no ranged attacks to take advantage of that either. You know. Yeah. Not ideal. Although they do still have rerolls, which is a thing that a lot of people lost. So
they have a lot of rerolls, and they just got handed a bunch more. Like, I have played against Reichnor's the Reichnor subfaction since 3.0, and I will say, like, man, those chain rasps, they can do some work when you put the entire unit on, +1 to hit, +1 to wound, rerolling basically everything. And it's like, oh well, that's actually quite a lot of damage. It's the bucket of dice solution to the problem. But if you're, if they get in there, they can do the work.
I think Nighthaunt players have long suffered from building their armies wrong. Like, MSU was always kind of like low key tech. I know it's kind of a band-aid solution to sort of exploit map play, right? Like you're looking at like how are BOC winning by not playing the game of Age of Sigmar, right? Like Nighthaunt have that power. You can stash half your army off the table. You can protect what you need to protect from the shooting meta, spellcasting, so on and so forth, basically. And then you can just make these concentric rings of so many flippin' ghosts, people can't interact meaningfully. The problem is you can't get stuff off of objectives when you need to.
And a lot of 3.0 revolves around the ability to kill.
Yeah.
Many battle tactics are based on your ability to remove somebody from something. Take an objective, kill somebody, destroy a thing. Like, hitting power has become an essential component of a strong list. And I think that's a big thing holding Nighthaunt back right now.
Wonder how many of these I can fit in my mouth in 30 minutes.
In 30 minutes?
Huh?
Is that
no, this is an all-at-once thing.
I know.
You gotta just shove.
Well, okay. All right. Shoving. So I'm gonna try to do this.
Well, you gotta go one at a time.
All right.
Don't make a bundle.
Again, I have metaphorically a big mouth.
You can squish it down.
I can squish it down. Do I squish it and then put it in?
Yeah, squish it, then shove.
Okay, Molly's not here. If I die, know I did it doing what I love, hating marshmallows.
Those are some big marshmallows. Is that like an American thing? Our marshmallows are like a quarter of that size.
You can get all sorts of size of marshmallows here. It's a beautiful country we live in. We don't have many things right.
Marshmallows is one of them.
But marshmallows is one of them.
It's fucking cool.
I think keep going. Too. Yeah.
You can get a third one in there.
They are very big marshmallows, though. I'm genuinely surprised at the size of those marshmallows. This is like one of them novelty
content.
It's like a novelty shaving foam dispenser where it's in a face and you press it and like a Pez and it squirts out shaving foam, but it's just got stuck. Like the shaving foam's not coming out properly.
Exactly.
I'm gonna translate that, or at least the intent of that was, if you're not donating whilst watching this, then there's something seriously wrong with the world. That was like donation-worthy content. If there ever was
my god,
donation-worthy content.
3 of those. Should I see how many of the slightly smaller ones I can fit now?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right, that was 3. These are huge.
They're gigantic.
That's insane.
And I'm really jealous. I wish I had marshmallows right now.
See, I hate marshmallows. I hate them. They're like the only way. I like them on a s'more, but I'm the person who burns the hell out of the marshmallow, because like the carbon flavor. Like I'm cool with that, but like.
Oh, you're wrong.
That's kind of cool.
Huh. This is gonna be really hard to explain when my wife walks in.
I get the impression it would not be hard to explain this to your wife. Like, I don't know whether that's a bad thing or a good thing.
All right, let's see how many I can get in here. And then I got to do the most dangerous intro. All right. 2.
This is much
Can we,
easier.
can, we,
Uh-huh.
can we get a marshmallow size comparison to the
Yeah,
previous
there you go. Good
marshmallow?
call. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna guess like 3 times the volume. I reckon.
Seems about right.
Yeah. How many are we up to on the small marshmallows
It
so
should
far?
be 8. Oh, 10.
10.
Okay, there you go. I missed 2.
Right. Yeah.
Mm.
So there's like an elite versus battle line analogy here, right? So
Absolutely, yeah.
the big ones are only 3 times bigger, and yet they're less than 4 times we're fit in the mouth compared
Exactly.
to the small
This
ones.
is the best metaphor ever for
This
regular battle line troops versus elite troops.
Exactly, yeah.
I think 11's my limit.
Just work out better.
I couldn't get that 12th one in.
Okay.
My dogs will be eating that at some point because it's just going in the garbage.
The fact that he went like 10 or 11 to 3 literally makes it the perfect battle line versus elite comparison.
we have to. That needs to be written up in an article with a comparison photos for why elites and Age of Sigmar don't work.
Think of how many elite marshmallows you can fit in Mephisto's mouth.
This is a Goonhammer article just waiting to be written.
Someone's already clipped that shit, and it'll be forever on the internet. My shame. All right, this is the quality Warhammer content I subscribe for. All right, I gotta go wash my hands because they're sticky.
Full of sticky marshmallow
Yeah,
goo.
sticky marshmallow goo.
We can talk about Stormcast. I'm really excited for Stormcast.
So am I. Have you got any games in with them yet? Like
no, I've not really played at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been like kind of super busy, but I'm just starting again now. But I love the models. Like I've been on a bit of a painting journey the last year or so, and the models make me want to paint them, which is kind of a newish thing for me.
Yeah, because the new Thunderstrike models are just incredibly
so
good.
Yeah, and right up my alley for the kind of like I've always been into elite style armies anyway. I've got like just some custodies in the background,
Gotcha.
for example, and that's the kind of stuff I'm into. But Stormcast have just never been good enough to bother with, right? Like unplayable if you're trying to play any reasonable level. And yeah, like the new rules excite me. The models are great. They count as 3. Looks like they're going in a direction where they might be playable.
Yeah, man, that counts as 3 on Redeemers. Like, I was already standing Vindictors beforehand. Because the difference, like, Vindictors they're everything I want in a battle line unit. They have such a clearly defined role, right? In the wind and a grind unit, like base 3-up save, 2-inch reach, easily works in the new coherency. Mortal wounds to grind down the enemy slowly over time. Like lots of easy ways to refill them, even in just the box set. Like not even looking at the broader rules that are going to be there, right? And then giving them count as 3. I was like, yeah, I am in for these guys hard.
Yeah.
And we know they're going down in points in the book because they shared that little they shared that screen cap. And in the box set they were 140. In the book they're 130.
Oh, nice. Yeah, and they were a little bit pricey for me. I think I put together some armies for now, but pre-book, and they were like 3 units of Annihilators. I wanted to drop Annihilators on people. Pretty much was the main reason for making that army, and they felt a bit expensive for what they did. Still, like 140 was pushing it a little bit, but yeah, new rules and 130 seems really good. So yeah, I'm hoping that the Annihilators are good as well. I think they're a really interesting unit that we've never seen. That 2-up save, not tons of wounds, good enough damage, 2-up save.
Yep.
Priced okay. I hope they maintain that, and I hope the other units sort of follow suit. Like I hope we have some interesting stuff. I hope the Chariot does something cool, as opposed to just being
a Chariot, which have been traditionally
level,
terrible.
One bow shot, like one dull bow shot.
Right.
But,
you'll have to forgive me, but I hope the Chariot's bad. But if it's good, that's fine. I'll just convert one. But I hate that model so much. I hate traditional Chariots. Like we couldn't get anything more interesting.
Yeah, I know. I've been playing a lot of historical stuff the last 6
Gotcha.
months, particularly, and I've never particularly been into like that era of history, like Dark Ages and Roman era and all that kind of stuff. But it's grown on me a lot recently, so I thought chariots were pretty cool.
Sure. Like I get it. I get people loving chariots. If it's super good, I'm fine with it. I'll be happy to see them I would love to see them crack the code on designing good chariots. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you know what I really want? I want it to be designed in such a way as I want one. I don't want an army of chariots. I don't want to spam chariots. I just want a chariot as a really great support piece.
Yes.
So my army looks like it makes sense.
Yep.
That's what I'm really after.
Yeah, it would be interesting if it had, and I wouldn't want it, I don't want it to have the shark rule. Okay, I'm not saying it should have the shark rule, but it would be nice if it had something like what the shark rule does.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're not really encouraged to spam sharks from the shark rule. There's only so many fights you need to stop piling in general. But you're kind of always incentivized to have a shark.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. Well,
that's
they mentioned having in one of the Beast articles, I think it was the one where they were talking about the vulture, the orc vulture monster, and they mentioned Stormcast having like some answer to that, like thematically, and of all the things they've showed us so far, it looks to me like you can imagine like beast hunters driving around in a chariot with some kind of special beast killing bow or something like that. So I'm thinking maybe that could be that's my guess at what their special rule might be, something along those lines.
It would be awesome if if the chariot had the beast hunter or whatever, and its special rule was anyone hit by anything with the monster keyword hit by this unit's attack cannot use monstrous actions.
Yeah.
Until the until the end of this turn or whatever, until the blah blah blah. It would be or can't use monstrous actions or command abilities until the end of the turn. Whatever, something like that. That would be amazing, right? You'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna have one of those in my army, just to handle that monster that I need to shut off.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Something again, there's so many roads they could take that would make it an interesting utility piece.
Yeah.
Where it could have value.
And this is what you were talking about before, right? There's so many. There are an infinite number of interesting special rules that you can write to make interesting artifacts or whatever, but also to make interesting units. And when you get these units that are just another variation on what their effective wounds per point is and what their effective damage per point is, like all of the Slaanesh book, and all those numbers were very low. It's just really disappointing. It's like, why have these models with all this? Like even the Simbaresh Twin Souls were a great example for me, right? They've got this idea of these like two faceted demon people who operate in two different modes, but the two modes were just like slightly different combat stats.
Right.
Like, why were the two modes not like something interesting that actually changed the way the unit works, rather than just bit better in combat, bit better at not dying in combat.
Well, and the insult to injury part of that, of course, is even in addition to that, even if you thought, okay, but that's cool, this game's about fighting and it's a fighty unit, fine, I guess. Like, even if that was your defense, I love that then they made it so that you don't even get to choose which stance you're in. Right? You're forced into it. Just like the worst possible way that those things could be built. I'm just like, ugh. So yes, not only is it a boring ability, but it's a boring ability I have no agency in choosing. Wonderful. Great. That's what I was looking for.
But I've got hope for the Stormcast book. I think it is looking like it's got some interesting stuff in it. It's looking like it's going in the right direction.
Well, the 3 capturing thing was a had me at hello type moment. It was like it showed me they had identified the weaknesses to an extent, and gave it an identity. Now, Staunch Defender got thrown under the bus, but it got thrown under the bus of
I love that they were like,
of progress.
Awesome updated of a classic role, and I'm like, no. This will never be taken again, ever. You missed.
Yeah. And also whether they change in the book or not, the pointing of annihilators in the box at 190 showed me that someone somewhere has sort of maybe noticed that there was a problem with the pointing of those units.
Yeah, yeah.
And their wounds are still low, but their wounds were a 2-up save is pretty good. And 190 was like fair. They weren't that far. They weren't as far off the mark with those as paladins and stuff
Right.
are.
Yep.
So yeah, holding out hope for that book. That's going to be one of my 2 armies I'm going to play this year, hopefully.
Make that active. All right, so I just had 2 last-minute prizes added. A Warhammer Quest
It's gonna
set
be a heavy prize hour.
featuring. I'm moving these to the
For the
Heywoah
future.
block.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so this is a Warhammer Quest Silver Tower in the shrink, and Warhammer Quest Shadows over Hammerhall still in the shrink. So both of those.
Wow.
So that'll be
Nice.
midnight to 2 a.m. Central. That's when Heywoah joins me. So we're adding that to that, and then the other prize added from Cold Blooded Dom are these table. Have you seen these table print-offs to make your
Awesome.
the
Yeah.
huge?
Dude, those are amazing.
So 2 of those, it looks like, will be available also during the Heywoah block. And he has
Well, I know
assured
I'm doing
me,
midnight tonight.
yeah, and so he has assured me that because I criticized his artistry when I noticed it didn't have a coaster cut out.
I saw.
Like, and I photoshopped for advertisement me into the photo, like, and like I could have held a can of beer, but I thought it was funnier to Photoshop me holding a can of beer than like.
Yes.
So I photoshopped that in. So he's donating. It looks like a couple of those. So I'm going to take that as 2, and I'm going to put that.
Amazing.
I'm going to put that at the midnight block as well.
Ian, did you see these?
Oh, they're fantastic. The first thing I looked at was where in the world they were located, and then I saw it was not in the UK, and unfortunately, our government doesn't want us to be part of the rest of the world, so that was that out the window for me.
Yeah, those were incredible. Like, I didn't even catch, because in the first pictures people shared of them, I didn't like all. It looked like that showed the left side, which had the tables for the heroic actions and monstrous actions, but then on the other side it has like all the command abilities and sequencing on it. And it's perfect that it cuts a normal size mat into the exact 60 by 44 when you lay it down over the top. Like, holy Moses.
Yeah. I think we've all of the mats. I mean, obviously the mats we play on, I have access to plenty of mats already, so I don't really use my own. But we've already converted to the new size because of 40k, and we've had to do that for the shop. So, but if I had have been in the market for converting my AOS mats, I would have definitely found a way to get some of those over to this country. They're very good.
Yeah, my solution was I went out, got a giant piece of cardboard, like some folded up Amazon box, set it down on my floor in my basement, like out there in my Warhammer room. Then I laid the mat on top of it. Then I measured out with the lines, drew them, laid down masking tape, and then got like a carpet cutter and just zip. There we go, done and dusted.
See, I like when there's 2 guests that are just awesome and know like a critical mass of knowledge about Warhammer, because then I can just be quiet and like do this stuff.
You get a little on the floor, just catch up a little bit and wake up refreshed.
Yeah, that was nice.
So, has everyone noticed I'm drinking your what I believe is your national drink tonight?
What is it? Oh, Bud Light. Nice. You're not wrong, although it's owned now by a
German, right?
German. Is it German or are they Swiss?
Czechoslovakian, I think.
Oh, okay.
Well, they're owned by InBev, whatever country that is.
Right, yeah, whatever they're from. Yeah.
Yes.
See, I'm from Wisconsin. You have offended me, sir. We drink Miller Coors products around here.
My bad. We
I mean, it's piss water that gets you drunk, and I'm okay with that.
I've told this story so many times. It's not a great story, but I've told it so many times, and I may have even told it when we've spoken before. So apologies if this is
no. Treat every show like it's the first.
It is, but
for someone.
Me and Richie and some of our friends went to Vegas in like 2013 or something, right? And that was my first ever encounter with Bud Light. Was in Vegas, and it was playing beer pong with a bunch of American guys, right? And I'm not in the best shape in the world. I was in slightly better shape then. Richie was in much better shape, but we met a bunch of what I believe, according to the TVU, called jocks, right? And
Sure.
we met this bunch of jocks, and they challenged us to a game of beer pong, right? And these guys were all like really muscly and really big, and they were younger than us, and we were like, sure, we'll play you at beer pong. And they filled all the cups with Bud Light, right? And like by beer pong game 3, all these guys we're playing beer pong with are smashed. And to us, this is basically water. This is just effectively water. So like we're like 3 games in, we're all like, we don't feel like we're being drinking, and these guys are like struggling to even like get the ball near the table by this point because it's all Bud Light. And you know, my first encounter with Bud Light was therefore that Americans think this is beer. This was my initial thoughts, or at least some Americans.
Some Americans, come on now.
Some Americans. But now in the last year or so, I rediscovered this accidentally because some got accidentally delivered to my house when I ordered real beer.
Yeah.
And I was drinking it, and I was like, you know, I'm a father now. I've got 2 kids. I've got an important job. I need to be on it every day. And this is actually great. It does everything I want it to do. It lets me drink beer. It lets me pretend I'm drinking beer.
Yeah, no.
With absolutely no after effects.
No, you understand the appeal of that to like the demographic of American, what I call blue collar drinking. Is you get home at night, you have a case of those handy. You have a few.
Yeah.
You're good.
But we don't have any. We didn't traditionally have anything like this in the UK. You could not get beer less than like 4.5% in the UK because people just wouldn't accept it. It was like, you know, embarrassing to drink. And I think this is you know, other than you 2 fine gentlemen, I think this is probably your best export.
No, there you go.
There you go.
I mean, keep in mind, like, there's no. I think people are aware of like the sort of pub culture, you know, of like after work gets out, a lot of people go to the pub for a couple hours to stand around and have a couple drinks and talk about the day and unwind and stuff like that. And I'm just like amazed. The time I spend over in the UK, every time I'm in the office, I go out with them afterward to the pub for a couple hours. And I'm just shocked by how packed everything is. Like, it's such a cultural... Every day. It's such a cultural thing. It's not like people are sitting there, like, binge drinking, you know, for the most part. It's just people had, like... You'll see people nurse a single drink for a while.
I didn't drink beer until I worked a factory job. Like, I started drinking pretty young just because I'm a cliche. But, like, I was mixers and just straight liquor because it's cheaper. It's just super cheap when you're, you know, whatever. And I worked at Ashley Furniture Company on the Harlan laminator. So those fake wood prints that you see on tables, I put those on boards. And I worked 3rd shift. I'd get done at 7 a.m. and there was this bar, right, kind of diagonal 2 blocks from the factory. We'd go in. It was customary to, man, I'm like 19 at this time. I had to take a year off after college to just save back up money and go back. And we'd walk or drive over to the bar. They'd open up at 7 a.m. right when we got done with work. We'd go in, we'd drink a few beers, go home about 10 o'clock. They'd close. I'd sleep, get up, go to work. Like, and the first time I had a beer was in that bar because it was like, you know, you're drinking tequila sunrises and, you know, whatever's mixers or Jack and Coke, and like you're getting, you know, you're getting pretty lit, but like just a couple beers with people after work, and then like I didn't understand beer until that exact period in my life.
Yeah.
And now I'm like,
and it lasts longer as well, you know, because it's a bigger volume of liquid, right? It's easier to like get one beer, stand around for an hour.
Yeah.
Not that that's how we normally do it. We just drink too much. And then, you know,
well, I mean, to sort of counterpoint your, not counterpoint, but so like from Wisconsin, so I know you don't know geography of America any more than I know where Liverpool necessarily is on a map of the UK. I know it's a cool place because the accents are sweet and you're from there. But but Wisconsin has like, it's like we're basically one of the major, probably the major drinking state. I think the whole Midwest, just because that, you know, sort of Rust Belt industrial, you know, blue collar thing. But my buddy, he went to UW Platteville, or Wisconsin Platteville University, and he went down to Mexico on spring break, and they went down in a group, and they wouldn't allow Wisconsin, like they saw the UW shirts and they wouldn't allow them on the same team, so they divvied up the Wisconsinites and distributed them to all the teams for the drinking games.
That tracks.
Like,
You are a state that literally has a tavern league that wields outsized political power over your
Yes.
local laws.
Yes. Yeah. No, I mean, they've been sort of like diminished in the last few years, which is how you know Wisconsin's like kind of going down the tube is when the tavern association is losing its power to outside like literal oil who have taken an interest in our basilica sand or whatever the crap it is for drilling. It's just like no, it's not. It's diminished. Dark money is more powerful than them now.
that's crazy. I do love that it's called the Tavern League, though.
Yeah,
Isn't that great? Yes.
You know, it sounds like something out of D&D. It sounds like
Exactly.
you are. If you want permission to drink in this village, you are going to have to first seek the guildmaster of the Tavern League,
Yep.
and maybe you have a magic item that glows when you are in a bar in which you are allowed to drink.
They give you the pass. Yes.
yeah. So just a real quick, the DiceCast are the ones who provided those. I'd be remiss if I didn't shout them out. So there's YouTube. They're the one that just provided the silver, the Warhammer Quest boxes. Everyone, and I'll shout them out later on when we're actually doing the thing. But just real quick, eat cheese or die. That's our motto. I mean,
Is that really an either or proposition? It feels like one is going to pretty directly lead to the other.
I mean, I
Yeah,
like
depending on volume.
cheese. I like cheese. Like I can't. There are certain things in my life I can never. I know I will never be peak human health because there are just certain things that I enjoy too much, and I would, like, yes, I would be healthier, but I would be demonstrably less happy without them.
Sure.
And cheese is one of them. Like it's just I can't help it.
What kind of cheese is popular in the US? This is just not a topic I've ever thought about, but it strikes me that
Cheddar.
the great majority of cheeses that I am aware of, like England's got a lot of like cheeses, and they're actually like protected by law, a lot of them as well, in the same way as champagne is protected, by law. You can't call something champagne unless it comes from the correct region. A lot of cheese in the UK is protected by laws as well. And obviously there's a lot of cheese that I'm aware of that comes out of Europe. You've got Edam coming from the Netherlands. You got a lot of French cheese. What cheese comes out of the US?
Well,
like, what cheese do you eat?
Well, Wisconsin.
I know you have the stuff in a can, right? That's like really popular.
I don't know that it's.
America.
It might be
Right,
popular
that's like-
elsewhere in America, but like in Wisconsin, one thing I took for granted was like real. I was just talking to Molly. We helped with a food. Well, not helped with. We donated to a food drive recently, and I'm like, I remember distinctly the taste of powdered milk, and she looked at me and she's just like, I'm like, it's something I will never forget. Poverty to me tastes like powdered milk, if it had a taste, and she's like, yeah, but where were you when they did that? Because like in Wisconsin, you like get real milk when you're, going to the food banks and stuff like that. I'm like, oh yeah, well I was in North Carolina. That makes sense. And it was one of those things I took for granted until I ordered a burger in North Carolina and they put cheese on it. And I'm like, what the hell is this? It was just like rubber, and it was like the most unsavory cheese I'd ever seen on the planet. Because like again, I've been spoiled living in Wisconsin. Oh, the welfare cheese. Oh yeah.
The key here, Ian, that is worth explaining is that Meph's state in our country is known for two things, and those two things are beer and cheese. Like literally, Wisconsin's whole thing is cheese. Like they make beer and they make cheese.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of different kinds. Like I don't know that we're not as picky with like, names and types and stuff like that. There's
cheddar and Colby are like the two big American cheeses.
Yeah.
So it's cheddar and Colby, and we actually have a really solid. You can't call it Parmigiano Reggiano because that's also a region locked thing, but we have a cheese that is similar to a Parmesan that we're very, very good at making. So it's those are like the three big ones.
But I'd say that like in general, it's not as much like consideration of what type of cheese is it, because there's a lot imported from other places. Like Americans in general really love cheese. I mean, like, we deep fry it. We have cheese curds that come out of his region, which are just like tiny little pieces of cheese that you like ball up
Yeah,
and then you deep fry.
Yeah, it's
And all of that. So just like if we can generally get cheese on anything, we're gonna do that immediately. So we just love the. It's more that America loves the concept of cheese, and we'll pretty much take all kinds. Like it's an all-comer situation.
Tell you a thing that weirded me out, right? Is again just when I was in Vegas. We went to McDonald's for breakfast one morning, like we were,
Sure.
really hungover. Went to McDonald's for breakfast.
this is
and
when
I ordered a
McDonald's is best, objectively
Yeah,
speaking.
Yeah, absolutely. I ordered a breakfast burrito, like which is not some McDonald's in the UK doesn't have that on the menu. It's not a thing that we have. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a breakfast burrito. This sounds cool. And it had some, meat on it and stuff, but it was full of cheese. Like, and we don't eat cheese at breakfast. Certainly not like in large quantities melted on a bunch of meat at like 9 a.m. And I opened it and I was like, what is this? I do not eat this for breakfast.
Oh,
It
there
was
is
worth-
there
it was
is
worth
literally
eating
no
things.
meal that it is not appropriate to somehow work cheese in.
Yeah, like omelets. How do you have an
Bizarre.
omelet like without cheese? Like what is?
Just the egg. That's pretty much just the egg bit.
It's the egg, and then is there like vegetables and shit, but no
Yeah,
cheese.
But yeah, no, you don't. No, I mean, you do eat omelets with cheese, sure, but like
Okay.
not in the breakfast area. But I also get weirded out by like powdered sugar on syrup.
Well, I don't like-
breakfast. Is
yeah, I
a
don't like
savory
sugar.
meal, right? You have like if you're gonna have like egg, like I don't know what you call it. We call it like eggy bread. We have bread dipped in egg and like fry it or whatever. And you guys have like syrup and shit on that. It's like it's a
So
why does syrup doesn't belong with breakfast?
see, I'm aberrant in that like I don't like sugar as we've established with the marshmallows. I don't eat the powdered sugar, or I tend not to eat sweet breakfasts. I love chilaquiles. Whoever decided that you could make nachos for breakfast is a genius. They need a Nobel Peace Prize. With some chorizo, some like tortilla that you chop up, and whoever decided this is a breakfast. Yes, you're right. It is.
Yeah, fair enough. For sure.
But like yeah, so like I'm usually like I might do like a eggs Benedict if I go out to like breakfast or brunch. Corned beef hash. Like I eat like I tend to eat like heartier, but like I am the weird one in my family. My kids, if I like I make French toast or pan perdu, and I make it more the authentic way, which is going to be featured on my Mortal Realms cooking show that I have to do now because you guys donated for that. Like I'll show you the recipe I earned from my French teacher. Like I won't put syrup on it. Like it's already sweet enough because you put like condensed milk in the batter because you're kind of essentially making a custard, and the custard's going to run a little sweet, and then my kids just syrup or powdered. I'm like no, and they're kids too. But even Molly, anyone I make the stuff for in my family, I'm just not I don't like sweet, but like I do want a proper full English breakfast. I see photos of these on Twitter, and every time I see it, I'm like I want that. Like, and I know there's like with the tomato. I'm like, and it's like usually it's like
to a dockyard. First of all, the trick with full English breakfast is you don't eat it like for breakfast in the same way. You've already done a couple hours of work.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't eat when I first wake up anyway.
It's lunch, but you started work at like 6 a.m. and you're eating.
Yeah,
this
my
at 9
my
a.m.
Irish genes are pretty strong from half my family being like immigrated from Ireland, I guess, because I can't eat when I first wake up.
It's way too much fucking food, and but again, ostensibly it's because it wasn't used in that way.
Or like a lumberjack, you go out and you chop down a few trees for 3 hours, and you come back, you want like you need something to. That's how I eat. Like I need the.
Even now, when I order a full English breakfast, like the way the food is cooked is unhealthy, right? With loads of fat and stuff, but you eat it and you don't eat for like the entire rest of the day.
So
great.
Good.
On calorie balance, it's not actually that bad because you don't eat, you can't eat. Like you can't eat for the rest of the day. You've eaten so much food. And,
Yeah.
you can't beat full English breakfast. It's one of the things that the rest of the world.
I'm getting hungry right now. I want
never
it.
get
I'm going to
comfortable.
England just to try this properly. That's it. Like
Yeah.
that's the whole reason. Like I might play Warhammer or whatever, but I'm really just gonna go to like everyone at the Warhammer scene. I'm like, who has the best this? This is what I want. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Like poutine, another one of those like just like It's the working class, just like food that's made where you shove it in your body because you've worked a long day and you've earned these calories, and then you're gonna keep working for the rest of the long day.
I apologize if I swore. I must have gotten caught up there, and that somebody said it's the first time that I've heard Vince swear. Apparently, this is the full English breakfast is what got me going.
Ulster fry is superior. I will tell you now. The addition of potato and soda bread are the next level key items.
Yeah, that's what you didn't have enough. Like you didn't have enough stock in the full English breakfast to fill you up.
Yeah.
Shove in some more carbs just to really make sure you don't eat for a week.
I need blood pudding. I need to try this.
Ulster fry is great, but it's not an either-or situation. Like, you add Ulster fry on top of what's already there. Like, because taking something away is wrong. You know, there's nothing that can be taken off an English breakfast without making it less perfect. So adding something's cool, but taking something away, not cool.
Well, like, the tomatoes are customary, too. Like, you get the little, like, grilled or fried tomato.
You get, like, tomatoes. Yeah, you get, like, you either get, like, depending on where you are, a proper English breakfast, and this is by no means canonical, but in my opinion.
Okay. No, this is good. No,
like,
we'll take this as sacrosanct because
you
you're
like
on my show, and my show is sacrosanct.
Well, so it's correct. Like a tin of plum tomatoes, you know, the ones that are like really, like, you water in, you dip stuff in them. Like fried actual tomatoes is not cool on an English breakfast. That's far too healthy and towards the, you know, like an actual vegetable or fruit. So yeah, like those and beans, and you just dip stuff in those, like. And that's cool. Some people put chips on them nowadays. Sometimes you go to some places when you order a full English, and they will also give you chips.
So I have
the best inclusion that I could think of to add in there. Again, yes, more of this like starchy carbs that are just gonna fill you.
Yeah, like that. I mean, that to me is, if you need more carbs with an English breakfast, you get more toast.
Sure.
And you put more things on the toast.
Yeah.
And turn it into more English breakfast sandwich. But chips is just no.
So
no.
I have to ask: do you call it an English breakfast or a full English breakfast? How do you order it, like in the native parlance?
Full English.
You actually do say full English.
Yeah, we just say full English. Yeah.
Really?
No one says English breakfast.
And nobody says just breakfast. Like, could I have a breakfast?
Foreigners. No one even uses the word breakfast. Yeah, full English. It's just a full English.
Yeah, full English. Right on.
But most people customize. You know, most people like add extra bacon or don't like mushrooms, or you know, most people customize like a little bit, which is also cool.
Yeah, so I
hope chat's getting a good
I
education here. Like, if you come to the UK, that is one thing you absolutely have to do is eat an English breakfast.
It's
the best.
I gotta I'm gonna do this real quick, but I bit of trivia. I knew what an English breakfast was, or full English breakfast, because of Magic the Gathering. That was my first introduction to what that was, because there was an old combo deck called English Breakfast, or if you added in, I can't remember what his win con was. Heywoah, save me! I can't remember what his win con was, but my Ben, who donated earlier, Niles, he played it. He was obsessed with it. It was sort of the step before Storm, or the Epic Storm became a deck, right? Like it was the step before that was full English breakfast.
Yeah.
And I remember.
Do you have a regional variation, Ian, that you prefer? Because obviously, you know, Ireland's is slightly different than Scotland's, is slightly different than Wales.
I think they only really differ in the black pudding versus white pudding versus Ulster fry.
Wait, what the fuck is white pudding? Like black pudding is blood pudding, but what's white pudding?
Yeah. Black pudding is with blood. White pudding is pretty much like pork and meal. So white pudding's pretty much just pork. It's also great. And Ulster fry is kind of like sort of like it's like spam except nice, sort of. But you know, a lot of places you just get all of them. Like you just get the lot. You know, it's pretty normal.
I'm much more a fan of white pudding than black pudding.
I'm trying.
Yeah,
both.
I love black pudding. Black pudding's fantastic. I like all of them though.
I'm getting hungry. I hate it.
Do the lot. Yeah, me too.
Oh, I apologize, gentlemen. I need to call it a day.
Yeah.
This has been exactly the conversation I wanted to have.
Yeah, me too.
I can think of no better way. This is the meta we need to be discussing.
The breakfast
right
meta
here. The breakfast meta. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, but you gentlemen have an excellent Ian. It's fantastic to see you again, buddy.
Yeah, nice to speak to you too.
All the best. I hope when I'm over in next year, I'm sure I'll be back over in the UK regularly. So I hope to get a chance to hang out at some point.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do it.
Right on. All right, Meph, best of luck, all of you out there. Oh, do you want to do the draw? I want to know who won because I'm about to walk away from my computer.
Yeah.
You do the draw for who won the second Vince paints a thing.
Doing it now. Getting a thing.
Awesome.
I donated in this section, so it could be me, which we get a live on air reaction of how happy I'll be. What's it gonna be?
All right, go ahead and roll it up now.
While you're drawing, I just want to say, although I'm sort of like just starting to find my legs with enjoying painting, which has largely come from not painting things because I've got an event about to come up, like painting things because I want to paint them.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to trying oils properly soon.
Nice.
Definitely on my list of stuff to do. I've been washing with oils for quite a while, but
Sure.
looking forward to trying to actually paint with them because
it's really fun. It's really fun.
Yeah.
So for the I'm gonna do these in so for the Beast Snagga's Army box Ross Poly. It's greedy Ross.
So Tom, who's on in a minute, is just messaging me in WhatsApp, upset that he can't contribute to the English breakfast discussion while we were watching right now. I'm sure he'll have to get his thoughts in a second. Tom's got all
for
sorts
the
of
gift card
ideas,
plus wurgog. Sorry.
Tom thinks Pizza Hut is the best pizza, for example, which is bizarre.
See, this is a person whose food opinions is already highly sus.
Highly suspect.
Tanland wins the wurgog plus gift card.
Nice.
Who did?
Tanlen 42.
Okay.
And then the one you're all waiting for. I like the 42, the answer to everything. Wurgog plus is what you got here, so record that. And the gift card I just email you. It's actually 2 codes, but and then the mini. Go ahead and generate that. Ooh, a low number. I like when I see low numbers on the generator. No shit. Brendan Melnick wins the Vince.
This guy, the Lord of Death himself. Well, I guess I'm going to be painting a Lumineth thing and probably a Death thing. So it'll be 2 different change of paces for me. So there you go.
So off the $13 donation. See, 13, the lucky number.
Nice. See,
Look at that.
I told you the $13 donation was the key. All right, I got to go take care of these monsters. Bye.
Vince Mini 2. Here we go. All right, Tom, ready to hop in here?
All right,
Cheers,
gentlemen.
Vince.
You all have a good one.
Yeah, take care, Vince. Thank you so much for being on.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. All right, so Tom, we just send him the link.
I've sent him it. I think he's probably...
All right, so this block is the official Just Play block. The prize up is the Night Haunt Launch. I did this just for you, Ian, as an inside joke. Well, I guess it's not really an inside joke.
What is it? A Night Haunt? A Night Haunt what?
Whole Night Haunt. Well, not a whole, but here, I'll go grab it.
So we're dropping a Night Haunt army in while I'm on stream just to trigger me more than I already have been for the last 2 years over Night Haunt. I love it. I actually really like Night Haunt. I think Night Haunt are kind of getting towards being okay now. And I think whoever wins this army should certainly put it together and paint it and give it a go. And hopefully they get a new book and it's super good. Let's see what it is.
So he's not going to be able to join the disused Fane because it's locked, so it's got to be the... you got to give him an invite link from one of the other things. So we got a box of Grimghast Reapers for everyone. And one art of Grimghast Reapers.
Nice.
Chain rasp horde. Cruciator, which I think is actually like solid for what it's supposed to do. It does its job.
Certainly does. You certainly should not be not taking that model now.
Right. And then we've got a black coach because, and this is really where it all started. So every year I've done a giveaway for like one of my weirdo marathons. It started with my like Halloween marathon. The grand prize was a black coach. It's what I could afford. Last year we had a black coach. This is donated. And this year it felt wrong not giving away a black coach, so I went out and I bought a bunch of Night-On stuff. Well, technically I had the black coach. And then like I saw the size of the lots and just like the generosity of all the gifts people were donating, and I'm like, I can't give away just a black coach. A Mega Gargant is $200, so like I had to do that. But really for me, the piece de la resistance is this right here. It is a rite of passage for every death player.
Oh, the pain.
You must put you think Slanesh has excessive pain? No, this is where it's at. You're not a death player until you've put one of these kits together.
Or not put it together, as the case may be, because that is also an acceptable outcome from trying to assemble a spirit host, is just giving up. That's okay. Sometimes in life, giving up is a thing that you should do.
There's your lesson. So there it is.